Okay, so to bring this, I know the perfect way to get us back on track here, to get us onto our timeline here, because I fucking worked for MLSE during COVID. Okay. And when we
Oh,
got first laid off, okay, the fucking CERB wasn't even like CERB hadn't even been created yet. Okay. And there was, because we were like the first people that got laid off, there was this huge Toronto fund for like the Leafs and the Blue Jays and all of these fucking like the NHL donated money to this fund that was gonna go like to the workers.
right. Oh, God.
They the fucking CEO of the MLSE at the time, who was a fucking formerly worked for apartheid South Africa companies. He was just a straight up fucking completely aligned with apartheid South Africa. I can't remember Michael Friesdahl, but he told the Toronto Star, and this is in like April, right? People don't know what the fuck they're
Right,
doing.
right,
This is
right.
April 2020.
Like, no more air travel.
CERB, no, but I mean, like, CERB hasn't been done yet, right?
Yeah,
Like, the 1st of April is already passed. I, like, I was laid off in fucking, like,
yeah.
the Utah game, like March 13th, I think it was. So, like, I didn't have any money. And then the fucking CEO of fucking MLSE goes to the Toronto Star and says that they're helping their employees, that, like, they are helping them. So like my landlord is like, I read in the paper that you guys are getting money. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why would you make that statement? We're not getting anything. We're not seeing any money. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? And like, I am like, I have a family connection to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, my dad was close personal friends, like my dad's family's close personal friends with George Armstrong's family. They're both from the same area in like Falconbridge, Ontario.
Okay.
Like George Armstrong was captain of the Leafs last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup. So like it was like an honor to work for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That
That's
experience,
destiny. Like, yeah.
that experience completely disillusioned me to that fucking franchise, to everything that that place is, everything that that fucking parasitic fucking organization is. That to the point, like when they lost to Montreal in that series, like 2 years later, in the shortened season where it was just like the North, like the Canada League, and then they played the Habs. They had a 3-1 series lead, and I was still an employee of MLSE, but I wasn't working there because of
Oh
like it
my,
wasn't safe to be there, you
wait.
know?
So they were playing to empty arenas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Or
God.
very like a limited space. You know what I mean?
Oh
Or
God.
like the thing is like I have asthma, and I have like I'm very like prone to infection. So like I'm vaccinated. I'm not like an anti-vaxxer or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like I'm talking about at a workplace, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just not how safety works. You know what I mean? If someone like can't do a certain thing and is protected by all of the other like fail safes, the part of the fail safe is that other people will be masked. But like if I'm working as like, because I was like a production hand, Teamster production hand, and there is a protocol for wearing masks among like the workers. And it was one of those things where it's just like, well, if he's not wearing a mask, then why shouldn't I? The point is, it's like that's not how safety works. Apart from, I don't want my point to be misconstrued because it's going to be. It's just that my issue was that, like, one, there is no mask rule for people who are going to watch the hockey games, right? And then two, there you are claiming that there is like a protocol, mask protocol, and like vaccine protocol that like people that I knew that were like, QAnon MAGA types who refused to get vaccinated, who refused to wear masks, who didn't work during this period of time. And so they were claiming that everyone was following the protocol, but no one was following the protocol. And like I have like I'm not just talking out of my ass. Like I have a doctor's like a doctor's recommendation not to wear a fucking mask while I'm working for like long periods of time. If I'm walking up a huge amount of stairs, etc., things
Yeah.
like that. And I'm like, that risk can be taken because I should be around other people who are masking, and they
Yeah.
weren't doing that. And so I just refused to work. And it was to the point where they just agreed with my grievance, but we're just like, it's not going to be something that is going to like, you're not going to get any, like, you're not going to get anything for it. You just don't have to work. You know what I mean? You don't have to show up and you're still an employee. Right. But,
Okay.
and so because of this, during this time, just insanely disillusioned by MLSE, right? Had worked for them since like 2017. And then when they lost to the Habs in that series, it was in 2021. That was it. That's when I completely cut ties with that team. And now I revel in everything that I witness about like all of everything that is happening with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, it is so beautiful to see Montreal.
Oh,
And
just killing it. Just killing it. I don't watch a lot of hockey, but Montreal is killing it. And isn't Suzuki like he's their captain, right? And like he's just having like an incredible season. No,
yeah, and
yeah,
that's what I mean, is that it's just very satisfying to watch these other fan bases who have, always had like, I mean, not with Montreal, but definitely with Ottawa and Buffalo, with like, being kind of like a vassal team to the Leafs market wise. And it's so great to see them having success without a massive amount of investment. And the Leafs are such a perfect example of like corporate Canada, and like a crown corporation type thing, that is like a connection to the state.
JaVale.
Yeah, that's like connected to the state, and it expands, and then it sells off all the parts, and then the selling off all the parts, that becomes like the means in which it like gets value. And that's where it is right now, is like when they got Matthews, they basically it just created like a speculative bubble till right now, and that bubble is burst, right? Like they didn't actually have to build anything, just the promise that something was coming was enough for everybody to show up, and you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is the hopium. Yeah, yeah, and actually the the crash when they're out in the first round only just heightens that anticipation for the following year. Like, yeah, this time we'll get it right. It was
Yeah.
that it was that one asshole. It was that one asshole that fucked it all up for us. That the goalie or
Yeah.
coach or
And that like this year's the year. And like I've written about this a bunch. Like the parallel between like that and like the NDP is so like there's such a clear parallel where it's just
right
like
now, yes, because
like
they're such a
I,
cult personality, right? Like you don't know, like that. There's nothing about the NDP except uh leader, right?
right.
And then,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like this really turned me off. Um, but we've got some dude that runs in my riding, NDP guy. I don't even know his fucking name. But like his campaign posters don't say candidate name. They say leader name. Jagmeet Singh. You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck, man? This guy is nowhere to be seen for 4 years. And then like every 4 years, I see a couple of fucking really shitty fucking lawn signs. Like, bro, like, like, show the fuck up, man.
I mean, yeah, they're just so bad. Like, and like the point that like the thing with the NDP and the Leafs, it's always just like I swore them off, but this year's the year. I swore them off before, but like this year's the year. They're really getting it together, and it's like the same thing. It's the same, and it's just on the prospect. Like they're selling you on the prospect of hope, but never giving you anything to hope for. Like it's the idea of something is out there, but like it's not like it's something that's like other teams have it, like. And I moved to Montreal, not because of the Leafs, but because like Toronto is unaffordable, and Quebec has different laws that it's a little bit easier for tenants, but since I moved there, it's that has almost been eliminated, besides maybe not having to pay first and last month's rent. But anyways, besides the point, uh, from having gone to Montreal Canadiens games and having like seen how Montreal Canadiens fans operate when the team is not doing well versus the Leafs, it's just like it's the difference between like a culture behind a sports team and like a feudal system, and then you have these lords like the fucking Steve Dangles and the fucking
How do you feel about this?
you know, but it's true because they keep the copium going, you know, and because these figures are out there who aren't being like, fuck this team, why are we fucking keeping up with, like, why are we putting up with this? Everyone still, like, the pyramid keeps going, you know, because there's these figures who are like, I'll never give up hope, when it's like, you're a fucking loser. What do you mean you never give up hope? You're being fucking exploited. This team sucks. Like, they don't care. And so to you sent me this article, and I need to read a bunch of it because it's just so glorious. The inside the stunning fall of the Maple Leafs.
Right. With the AI talking points and the strategy meeting or something.
Yeah, so I'll read a little bit of this. So The Athletic, yeah, April 15th. Inside the stunning fall of the Maple Leafs, chaos, dysfunction, and AI. And so it spoke to the gravity of the situation that he felt compelled to be there at all. Inside the war room at the Toronto Maple Leafs suburban practice facility ahead of the March 6th trade deadline. Seldom does a finely tailored suit from the C-suite rub shoulders directly with scouts who spend hundreds of days pounding the pavement each year looking for players. But there was Keith Pelly, the president and CEO of MLSE, overseeing the action. Pelly had never taken that approach with the NBA's Toronto Raptors or MLS Toronto FC, the two other big league clubs he oversees, nor had he been in the room on trade deadline day a year earlier when Brendan Shanahan was still president of the Leafs. But he was concerned by the direction the team was taking under general manager Brad Treleving and felt it necessary to get a firsthand view at how the front office operated under pressure and arrived at decisions. Pelly viewed himself as merely an observer, but others there felt differently. He didn't sit in silence. He peppered the team's scouts with questions and demanded more assets and trade conversations and tossed out opinions and ideas. This is the best part. As one team source put it, fans would have been surprised to see just how involved the non-hockey executive was that day. Pelly didn't come empty-handed either. He had notes that included possible trade returns that Leafs staff members believed were generated by large language models and artificial intelligence, tools that have become increasingly influential at the top of MLSE, but hadn't been a part of the usual process with its NHL team. Like, that's exactly what I'm saying. It was fucking AI. Like, you can't pay. You're just selling off the parts and replacing it with fucking AI and this speculative fucking technology that like only works in the way that you think it works. And like, if you're just using it to replace someone, it's never going to fucking do that thing because you don't know what they did, right? If you got that person to maybe use these tools, then maybe there would be a